dots connecting.
Because they don't have immunity when they're outside of their office and when they're violating the code of their office and violating the Bill of Rights and Constitution. And it needs to be done not just on the police. They're usually the main target because they're the face of all this, good and bad. The bureaucrats, the code enforcers, the city council people. I mean, the mayor of Austin needs to be hit with 50 lawsuits and a class action suit over the fluoride in the water, because it's not just fluoride that they've got a mandate for. Where they buy it from has hundreds of chemicals and other things in it. You demand a test, you get that test. Now you have them with all the other toxic waste that they make us pay to put in our water that would have to be paid to be stored, and we have them. I mean, there's so many fronts. People say, well, Alex, you need to sue them. Or people say, why are you being so mean? I'm not being mean. That guy flips off medical doctors that come in there to speak about Harvard studies on brain damage. And Leffingwell starts laughing and literally flips people off on the news. Because they know if their fluoride falls, it all falls. I appreciate your call. Let's go ahead and talk to Tom in Minnesota. Tom, thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Hi, Alex. I think the biggest problem is that the NSA holds blackmail power over the Supreme Court. They've been spying on the Supreme Court, and Bill Binney said it. Ed Snowden said it as well.
No, that's right. We have William Binney, number 4 at the NSA, who quit 10 years ago over it all, saying, look, when he was there was blackmail going on, and it's about total control and totalitarianism. Those are quotes. And that the spying is total. Total, total, total.
Correct, and you mentioned parallel construction on your interview yesterday. If you don't know, if some of our listeners don't know what that is, look up Bill Still Interviews Bill Binney on YouTube, and he'll explain what parallel construction is and how NSA has been using parallel construction for the past 15 years.
Go ahead, caller.
He'll explain, if you look up, if you don't know what parallel construction is, if you heard that term yesterday and you're not familiar, look it up on YouTube, and Bill Binney will explain it. Look up Bill Still Interviews Bill Binney.
Well, what they started doing when I first talked to whistleblowers back in '96 is the NSA builds a whole separate internet and hubs hooked into everything so that they are the internet, and that's basically what they're doing. And that's the type of unconstitutional NSA searches that deny due process. That it's a technique used by law enforcement to hide the fact that evidence in a criminal case originated with the NSA. That's what came out in Reuters last year that we've been telling people about for years, is where it's all being listened to. They just lie about it because it's illegal. Again, it's a giant criminal, racketeering, organized crime, kingpin operation of government in a concerted effort to engage in a mass fraud, violating our rights with illegal spying, but then also using the data to then put innocent people in prison, frame people, set people up, corner the market, and then they lie in a mass conspiracy in court to abscond the truth and conceal that in a mass act of organized crime perjury.
Correct.
In fact, let's put it back up on screen again. I'm going to read the definition from the federal court of this parallel construction. It's a technique used by law enforcement, you mean organized crime, to hide the fact that evidence in a criminal case originated with the NSA. In its simplest form, the NSA collects information showing Mr. Anderson committed a crime. This happens most commonly in drug cases. The conclusive information is passed to the Drug Enforcement Agency, who then works backwards with the conclusion to create an independent legal body of evidence to use against Mr. Anderson. And that's a whitewash, folks. They use confidential informants to lie and say it. They frame people with it. They only go after drug cases that aren't part of the inside organization. And the average cop out there isn't involved in this. This is done centralized by the feds. But now, through the threat fusion centers, this parallel construction is now creeping into every form of life, every form of daily life, and it's very dangerous. Anything else?
Nope. God bless. Thanks for taking the call, Alex.
Yeah, God bless you. Absolutely, folks. This is what they do. And then they'll hear you, talking about all the guns you've got, even if they're legal. They don't want you to have those guns. They will do a fake 911 call to your house that doesn't even ring, but that creates a record, and then they will SWAT team your house. And again, it has nothing to do with security. We're seeing that with the border right now. It's a criminal takeover. We'll be right back.
Are you happy doing your laundry with perfume detergents that irritate your skin? Are you happy washing your hands with stinking fragrances that gives your skin rashes? Are you happy paying new, higher prices for smaller boxes? Find your happiness today with our 1 to 4 year supply of pure soaps or our 1 to 2 month sampler with bar soap, shampoo, laundry, and dish soap at 5starsoap.com. You deserve the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
Get the most important package of information you'll ever receive in your life for only $10. The package includes 3 books and 7 DVD programs which cover biblical miracles and prophecy. The Shroud of Turin, The Third Secret of Fatima, What Really Happened to the Catholic Church, and more. Call 800-513-0029. That's 800-513-0029. Or go to VaticanCatholic.com. That's VaticanCatholic.com. 800-513-0029. VaticanCatholic.com.
Gentlemen, in search of $1 million smile that'll make them take notice, really get their attention? Then get the mud. My Magic Mud. The fluoride-free whitener with no chemicals, additives, GMOs, or bad taste. And safe to swallow. My Magic Mud detoxifies, reduces sensitivity, cleans and strengthens your teeth while it whitens. Comes as a powder for pure whitening power. Start looking good for that special someone. Get the mud now. MyMagicMud.com.
If I sound hysterical sometimes, it's because I've been naive. Things were worse than I thought. Fundamentally, I thought that the globalists were using sophisticated cultural manipulation on the Democrats predominantly, and that they weren't criminal in their middle and lower ranks. But learning about Acorn over the last 6 years and myself going out and dealing with grassroots Democrats, a lot of them actually know what's happening and get off on the power trip of being associated with a criminal takeover. And they really want to lock up libertarians and conservatives. They really want to make us their slaves. And they know they're not liberals. They know they're authoritarians. Like a moth to flame, they're attracted to the altar of evil. And they worship that twisted power. And I think it's just basic nihilistic corruption. Because other cultures have done this as well, but people think cheating and stealing and lying is cool. And they're converting the government agencies to people like this, where it's come out in the news that the IRS has parties and celebrates up in Dallas at their IRS center in the news, that they're persecuting libertarians and conservatives and Christians, and have said they're going to intensify it. And MSNBC goes, of course we're shutting down the Tea Party and arresting people with tax exemption. We need to harass them more. These people are dangerous. I just believe in America more than this. Because I know Republicans are bad in many respects, and blue bloods are, and there's some racists in the Republican Party. But when you look at the Democrats, just the way they operate top down, they really are a criminal operation now. Through and through. Through and through. Democrats that aren't are clearly criticizing Obama, saying they're not part of it, and have good voting records on guns, sovereignty, the family. They're more like old-fashioned Democrats. By old-fashioned, I mean like the 80s. But the Democratic Party today is so radical that they'll do anything. They might blow up New York City like Obama says he's worried about and make Obama a dictator. They could do anything at this point. Anything. Let's go. I mean, they publicly arm Al-Qaeda publicly. I mean, it's over the top. Chris in Nevada, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good morning, Alex, from FEMA Zone 9 in the Empire of Lies.
You bet, brother.
You're speaking about asymmetrical this morning, and I thought it's important to define the word. The word means without symmetry, form, or order. Ab, order, chaos. In fact, chaos is the assembly of worshipers of Osiris. And when we hear crisis, it's the cry of ISIS.
Yes.
In the global war. This is the silent weapons, quiet wars form of war, which is a constant, full-spectrum global battlefield. It's the soft type of war, or boiling frogs type, where everything is war in one form or another, so that the masses don't notice that war is being perpetrated against them. The Grand Drago, George Soros, a.k.a. Georgie Schwartz, is one of the key operators of the Council of 12 of the global elite who are behind this insidious global annihilation project. But thanks to you, Alex, and the rest of the hosts of the GCN network, we are got the New World Order on the run. Death to the New World Order.
Wow, you really have got your act together, and I had seen what you just pointed out yourself. People asking James Bond movies based on a lot of real things that happened or similar things, at least the earlier Ian Fleming ones with Sean Connery. You know, why does Spectre openly wear the Spectre or Hydra ring on their finger? Because it's important to throw it in your face. And how do they operate? Creating chaos, order out of chaos. What do they call the Al-Qaeda forces? ISIS. Crisis. And asymmetrical warfare. We are seeing them hit us with asymmetrical warfare. What's your background? You sound like you know what you're talking about.
Well, I also am a meted learned man of the law, like your first caller that responded about Dr. Frederick Graves of the Jurisdictionary. He's one of the people I study with also.
So are you a Mason?
No, never been affiliated with the Masons. My grandfather was 32nd degree, but that's the closest I ever got.
No, I know. There's some good groups of Masons that are aware of all this. They're fighting it behind the scenes, and they use terms like what you just said, learned, student of the law and things. Very interesting. Call back again. We've got a special guest coming up, but what you just heard from that caller was pure veritas. I'm Alex Jones. Stay with us.
We're on the march. The Empire's on.